Star family, howdy hey, YouTube. I want to make a little video today that takes a look at multi-wheel stuff in a Capricorn Prometheus Astrology Software. I'm Michael, this is One Sky Astrology, and this is generally speaking a true sidereal channel, so the most of the information that I'm going to use is going to be displayed in that way, kind of specific to that use. I hope it benefits all kinds of astrologers. And I just want to jump in from here, transits and solar returns. When you're calculating progressions or doing synastry, you're going to want to use a multi-wheel. Often we want to look at different kinds of wheels. And what is a multi-wheel? It's when we're comparing any two or more charts directly. So for these purposes, I have a couple charts. The next new moon, I have my own natal chart. I have the transits that are going on right now, and let's generate some. Well, let's take a look. At multi-wheels, but first, before we take a look at multi-wheels, I want to jump to just some context. So multi-wheel stuff has its own section in the chart tab, and that has four options: synastry, dynamic multi-wheel from a predefined template, and it's kind of a general multi-wheel. Before we get into those functions, I want to go into astrology settings. There's going to be two settings here that are relevant before we even set anything up. And the first is preview wheel design. Down here, it's the fourth one from the bottom. And here you'll see the multi-wheel options. And you'll want to take the bi-wheel design and tri-wheel design. At the very least, I never use quad wheels. It's just not something I do. But you're gonna want to change the wheel design to Zodiac 13. So if this is something different, like bi-wheel 1A, which I think is the default that came with the standard stock installation, you're going to want to click on this and go down to bi-wheel Zodiac 13 basic wheel. And this selection, we don't have to save it as anything. We can just click OK and save. But before we do, there's another setting in the astrology settings that is relevant to multi-wheels, and that's dynamic multi-wheel template. So we'll come back to that now that I'm in OK and save. And now that I've got a multi-wheel, let's just generate one. Let's generate a general multi-wheel. Let's say I want to look at how the transits today are relating to my natal chart. That's easy. I'd go to general multi-wheel, and I'd put in the inner wheel, I would put the natal chart that I want to compare things to. And then in the outer wheel, I would put those transits. Yeah, and we have a multi-wheel. Yeah, you can see Pluto is over my moon, and Mars in the north node or over Eris in my south node. The astrology of it isn't really interesting, but we can get information. That's the point. Right away, the multi-wheel becomes useful. It's like transits. It's a whole transits report at a glance. You can see a lot in this, but what I want to focus on is the kind of dynamic multi-wheels, because with a dynamic multi-wheel, we can start to create templates, because whenever you click dynamic multi-wheel, it's going to ask you for the template you want. You're going to have to kind of create it. So we're going to work with my natal chart or the natal chart of your choice. We're going to, yeah, we'll relocate the chart to, my current location in space. We'll always click now when we work with dynamic multi-wheels. Always check, because oftentimes it's the default timing of it is sort of frozen to when that template was created. Yeah, so that looks good. In a dynamic multi-wheel, I can do whatever I want. So let's say I want to do a tri-wheel. And on the first wheel, in the inner wheel, I want, of course, my natal chart, which I've defined up here. And the second one, primary directions. No, but and that's because there's too many ways to do primary directions. But however you key them, this lets you do them. If you want to do that, go for it. I want to look at secondary progressions. So let's look at a progress chart. And I can configure that here. I can do secondary progressions, solar days, solar arc, and longitude. Perfect. And then on the outer wheel, I want to do a transiting chart. And that doesn't need to be configured. It'll just go to right now. So this looks perfect. Radix, progressed, transit. Bam. And there it is. Here we have, yeah, that's it. So the middle wheel is my birth chart. The second wheel is my secondary progressions, and the outer wheel are the transiting planets. And here there's no spider web in the middle, but what we can do once we've generated a multi-wheel, this is important. We've generated 2 of them, and we can view chart. So multi-wheels have their own charts. If you're looking at information in a multi-wheel setting and you view the chart, the only options that will come up are charts that have been specially formulated already to accommodate bi-wheel data or tri-wheel data, as the case may be. So I've generated this chart to show a synastry, which is comparison of 2 charts, just like this. So for general purposes, I'm not talking about relationship astrology. I'm just talking about the astrological technique of comparing 2 charts, one inner, one outer. That's synastry, and you get this. Actually, it's comparing not an inner and outer wheel, but this grid is synastry. That's the raw synastry. And then here we have the aspects, which I always find helpful. Now with charts, we can generate a lot more information. And when it comes to this, you may have to get into the chart generator and start to generate your own charts. Yeah, that's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's well worth it. It's well worth it because you can do stuff like this. And now I can see that the second chart, the outer wheel, which is the transiting north node, is exactly right now semi-square my natal ascendant. What I'm really interested in doing is saving time always. So we have these dynamics, but check it out. If I delete this chart, I want to recreate it. I can go to the natal chart that I want to work from, and say you have a couple. Say I load up someone. I don't know, who would I get along with? Maybe Bjork. We'll see. We'll do some synastry later. We'll have to generate synastry between myself and Bjork. See if there could be a match. No, jokes aside, what we're doing here is we're gonna talk about how to save time, and that is with dynamic multi-wheels generated from a template. So let's look at the templates that we have. If I click this already, I can do a transits and progressed and radix, which with 2 clicks, you see it's, notice the date, December 2013. With 2 clicks, so click now and we'll relocate the chart. I've got all that I set up before because I use that all the time. So click, click, shebang, there's your info. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful feature of the program. And we can do a dynamic template just to get progressed to radix too. Let's say we want to use Bjork as the chart, but we're not going to relocate her chart to Pittsburgh. And we will click now, and then bam, here's Bjork's progressions. Amazing. So, you know, very quickly, when you know what you're after, you know what you want, you can move through material and generate charts really quickly. So let's say that we're wanting to add a template. We want to create a template. That'd be great. So in settings, let's see, I just clicked cancel that here. I'm up here in astrology settings and clicking here. We go to dynamic multi-wheel templates. And here's the ones I have. So let's add one. In fact, let's no primary directions. That's just too complicated. Arc directions. Yeah, solar arc directions to radix. Okay, so I've already got that. Progress to radix, transits to radix. Okay, perfection range. We're actually going to be talking about perfections in an upcoming dialogue. I want to take this moment to alert everyone to the upcoming dialogue with Kathleen McLaughlin on Time Lord nonsense. Time Lord techniques. Time Lord techniques is the word I'm looking for. There may be nonsense. We'll have to see. But back to the issue at hand. What I want to do is add a new dynamic multi-wheel template. And for this, I'm going to choose, let's just say I want to do a bi-wheel. And I want the inner wheel to be the radix, which is the natal, the nativity that you've selected. So the outer wheel, let's see, what are the options? I'm not going to go through. Oh, a relocated radix. Wouldn't that be delightful? Yeah, so let's check that out. That's very useful. I get those work orders and requests sometimes. So yeah, do we click relocate chart and then relocated radix? No, I think we don't. Okay, let me edit that to reflect radix relocated. All right, interesting. Now, okay, and save. And now when I go up here to my dynamic from template, I have radix to relocated radix. And when that comes up, it'll ask me whose natal chart do I want to use, since I have 2 open right now. So use my own. And the relocated, let's see, we can configure. No, we can't. Let's see, then maybe we relocate it here. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And let's relocate it to somewhere like, you know, well far away, like Pittenhart, Germany, just to see, is there a dramatic difference? We'll click now, and the angles are different. There's the ascendant. So naturally the planets are the same, but I see what's happened here. The angles have moved. I wonder, are there any slight planetary differences? Would there be the slightest planetary difference? Everything looks very zeroed. No, everything looks very zeroed. Okay. Well, that satisfies that curiosity. Thank you for taking that journey with me, friends. That is just a demonstration of how you can go into the astrology settings and set up a template for your use. So because I already had all these useful templates, I had to go do something new, and I thank you for bearing with me. So let's do some multi-wheel stuff. Let's do some stuff. I'm not really going to show synastry because synastry just takes two charts really basically and kind of mashes them together. Take it here. I'll leave this open. When you generate synastry, it comes up with this grid, and the grid is telling you how the charts relate to each other. And if you want to generate a multi-wheel out of that, you have to actually view the chart. And what's available in 13, what's available in charts that employ 13 sign or constellation or zodiac may be limited if you're using just the stock install, but you can get this by wheel 1 and synastry aspects and wheel, I believe. No, I created that. I created this. I created that. Okay, so I found it somewhat lacking in that there were no aspectarian tables or other information that I wanted. So I had to create other charts. This is one I use a lot. This is one I would use a lot to see how do the charts compare. And here's the grid, the same grid, and here it is in a wheel expression. So yeah, not a lot to say about that. If you wanted to see, if you had this software and you wanted to see like how your chart, right? Here's mine, and I want to do a general multi-wheel to see how my chart compares with the next, let's say new moon or full moon. Let's say I want to do the next full moon. Well, I can go to lunar phase and find the next full moon, POW. And how does that full moon line up? How does it affect my chart? Well, that's what multi-wheel is for. And here you go. And with this, I want to take a moment just to plug Radical Astrology, which is a place where if you wanted me to share these wheels, that would be easy as part of the file base. I could share these through the cloud with other users of Prometheus, and we do share resources on Radical Astrology all the time. So join us on Facebook if you would like to just have access to some of these charts, these ways of looking at bi-wheel information. We can see right here that for the next full moon this is in about a week. This really hits on my moon. I got all planets making, except Saturn and Mars, making major aspect to my moon. That's something I noticed right away. There's a lot more information here when you sit and pore over it, and that's why I like this chart, because it has the information. What are the very closest aspects, and you can get pretty good at just zooming down here and seeing like, oh, Venus and Pluto, that's a minor aspect. North Node and Neptune, yeah, that's a trine. That's nothing to really, yeah, nothing really. Jupiter here is square my ascendant. That's probably the most major, probably most impactful thing. So here's Jupiter and Venus right down at the nadir of my chart, just angular. I hadn't even realized that was conjunction was happening right there. That's nice. Must be why I've been feeling so good in spite of everything that I've been navigating lately, because Pluto's over my moon, and that entails navigation. So, all right. Good to get a sense of this. That's what multi-wheels are for. See how cool it is to just get into a multi-wheel and like what's, the information just starts to reveal itself. This video actually arose in response to a comment from a community member who wanted to generate progressions, secondary progressions, and a multi-wheel around a natal chart. So there's a couple ways to do this. Let's clear this out. All right, we're clearing out. Okay, so I have the natal chart, and we wanna generate the progressions. What the easiest way, long term, to do this would be go to astrology settings, make a dynamic multi-wheel template of progress to radix, and what that looks like is one that you would name progress to radix, and set the inner wheel as radix and the outer wheel as progressed. And when you configure the progress chart, it should already be automatically set up for secondary progressions, because they're just the most common kind of progressions. You can do tertiary or minor progressions. You can do converse progressions, which are insane, and I don't understand them. But if you just leave it like this, secondary progressions. Okay, so mysteries remain. This video will not solve every mystery, but the easiest way would be to select your dynamic template, because from here, then all I'd have to do is progress to radix. Select the chart that I want and select the location where I am, move it to now, and okay, well, there are other ways to generate a progressed to radix chart, and that would be to take your natal chart, your radix, and to generate a progress chart here in the predictive section where we have progressed. We can take that, progress it. Usually we want till now, but not always. Sometimes we're researching a specific date. We can relocate it. We always want to relocate it. And secondary, day for year, days to use, solar days, and the precise difference. But that will generate a progress chart like this. This then can be used in the general multi-wheel, where we'll set ourselves up here and the progressions up on the outer wheel and here. And theoretically, this should give the same data if I go here and progress to radix. Yeah, relocate now. Okay. These charts should be identical. The multi-wheel, the dynamics. Yeah, not a pixel out of place. Yeah, that doesn't move. Okay. So they're doing the same thing, and that's why I said the easiest way is always to set up an automated process for future time saving. So if you know what you're after, you can code it in here in the dynamic multi-wheel template section of astrology setting. I think that's going to do it for this video. You can use multi-wheels for all kinds of things, just to compare charts, and there is one of the more useful functionalities within Capricorn Prometheus is just being able to take any two charts and compare them via that general multi-wheel option. So I wish you well. I invite you all to join us on Radical Astrology on Facebook, which is just kind of a place where you can further ask questions and share resources and have resources shared with you. Yeah, ciao for now. Yeah.